What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some Deathtrap. This is one of the other tower defense games that I enjoy playing, and I wanted to make sure that we got some of these showcased on the channel as well, since a lot of people have been asking me for other things that are similar to Orcs Must Die. I mean, there's a list of things that are tower defense games that are sort of action-oriented, but this one has a special place for me because there are very few tower defense games that also have action RPG elements to them. And action RPGs are one of my favorite genres of games, period. Like, you take games like Diablo, Path of Exile, Torchlight, Grim Dawn, Titan's Quest, like just so many action RPGs. This one is actually set within the Helsing universe, the Van Helsing universe, which is a series of action RPGs produced by the company that created Deathtrap, which I believe is Nanocore Games. Could be Neocore Games. Let me just double check that. It is Neocore Games. I will have a link to their actual website down below and a link to the game itself, but also there is a lot of other games that they've produced for various genres, and if you go to their actual website you can see the library that they've produced so far. A lot of very interesting games, some well received, actually most well received. And I think one of the things that they have done most recently is one of the Warhammer 40k games. Was it Mechanicus? No, they did Inquisitor Martyr. But yeah, like they make good stuff. This is a tower defense game, like I mentioned before. There's 3 available character types here. I'm going to create a new one for the purpose of actually going through this. I'll probably wind up going through each of the 3 characters here, but let's create somebody. Masher of Face. There we go. That's a good name.
Deep in this black fog that we call the ink, there are islands in the emptiness. Places where the ancients built their strongholds to kill monsters. Some say that the first swarm burst out of the ink heart ages ago, and the beast kept coming back until the traps took care of them. But the last cycle was 1,000 years ago, and the strongholds fell into ruins. I'm a mercenary. I spent my life selling my sword in the kingdoms of the ink. When I was hired as the warden of the empty forts, I foolishly accepted the offer. It seemed easy. I would take care of the abandoned ruins, and that'd be all. But the portal that brought me here vanished, and I heard the sound of the chaos portals opening. The new cycle has begun, and here I am, holding the forts alone.
It's definitely got to be the world's worst job take on the first day. Oh, I was supposed to defend the world against a never-ending horde of monsters. This was supposed to be an easy job. Alright, first assignment is the defense of the Darkmoor Stronghold. Alright, so you get a series of maps that open up as you play through the game and a bunch of options over here. We'll sort of talk about them as they open up, but you can see your character sheet and your skills. So I failed horribly at sort of getting this recorded the first time I tried, so I'm gonna grab back all the equipment that I was using, and essentially I accidentally recorded nothing because my hard drive was full. So that was a very special moment, and I'll try not to do that again. I have cleared off a few hundred gigs of hard drive space, so I think we should be fine. We can get hours and hours of things recorded now, but either way. Oh, there's also a skill list. So this is kind of the action RPG part of the game. There's other sets of skills, and eventually once we have access to the traps, other traps that you unlock just by doing certain things in the game. For the skills, you have to reach a certain character level You can see your character stats, resistances. These are crafting ingredients and money. And these are just various pieces of equipment that give you different modifiers. There's a resource, armor, health, and damage. And all the resources for the characters work different. They also all have a different introduction. If you saw the backstory that played there with them being introduced to being a warden of the various islands here. But let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so
Abandoned place. Maybe this one will be the last.
this is the first. Battles in Deathtrap are tower defense style skirmishes where you have to fight waves of monsters with traps in your character. That dome of blue energy on the pedestal is a gate. Monsters will try to reach it and enter your world. If you're coming here after playing Orcs Must Die, this is similar to your Rift. They get through it, you lose points. Monster reaches the gate, or if you die, cost you gate points. The green bar tracks how many gate points you have left. The red bar shows how many monsters are left in the wave, and it'll give you details about the types of monsters too. The red line that runs through the gate shows the path that monsters will take, so we can see where monsters are going to be coming from here. Rage is this particular character type's resource. Each of the other ones have different ones. We'll talk about them as we play them. I'll probably play a little bit of each of the 3 characters here, and I'm not sure if this will be popular on the YouTube channel or not, but I might just start streaming some of it over on Twitch because I think it's really good and I want to spend some time actually playing it. It is fun. Okay, so traps are kind of weird in this game in that traps have to be placed in a specific type of location, and there's 4 different types. There's towers and there's ground traps, but of the towers and ground traps, there are, this is your resource, the essence as it's called, and your battle skills, the skills you actually get to use during combat. You get health potions. These are finite. But like I was saying, there's 2 types of each. There are mechanical towers, which this is, and then mechanical ground, and then you have mystic towers and mystic ground. Mystic towers look like stone pedestals. Mystic ground resembles a sort of runic square where you can place magical traps rather than mechanical ones. Should be relatively obvious by the name, but yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. We won't really have any upgrades or anything until we begin the first or actually until we finish this map. So let's go ahead and get this started. I didn't talk about the abilities here, and I probably should. Your primary attack is just left click. It's pretty slow for this guy. You can get things that sort of improve it as you play. This guy has a really bad attack ability when it starts. He's primarily really good against giant enemies, but we don't have too many of those. His right click attack sort of freezes a group of enemies. Doesn't actually slow them down for too long. By default, the freeze is like a second or less. Yeah, 1 second. These are normal enemies. There's a few different types of enemies too, which sort of makes things interesting. You have wave info. Yeah, you have a map key, and you can see the different types of ground once you're in the map. You can't see it beforehand though, so you can't really prepare what type of traps you want to use or move your research points around before you get started, but you kind of want to gravitate towards certain types of traps anyway. Okay. So, I think I forgot what I was going to say. I was probably going to talk about the active skills. Everybody has their primary two, their left click, which is their primary attack, and the right click, which is an active skill that uses some of the resource, usually the most of your resource. It's the only resource spending skill that you start with usually with either of the three characters. Generally what happens is as you reach level 10, you have the ability to choose what other active resource spending skills you want. So this ability is a trap boost. Everybody has a trap boosting skill that they start with, and it works a little bit different for everybody. The Warden's primary character strengths are that he has a lot of HP and it regenerates relatively quickly, so he can sort of aggro mobs in place while the traps do the work. And so he has the ability to just double the trap's damage with a 20-second cooldown. You can increase the different effects that it can give a trap via character skills. And then they have this thing, Touch of Death, which is your world skill. There's world skills that affect everything on the map, either all the enemies or just all the traps, depending on exactly what the skill does. Or it could just add like a special effect to certain things that might be happening in the world while it's cast. Either way, it's kind of cool.
So many traps, so little time.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm ready to fight.
And one of the reasons why I seem to just be spamming these traps in the way that I'm doing is because, well, this acid trap here, acid geyser or phlogiston acid, whatever they want to call it. What's special about it is that it increases the damage that all physical sources deal, and these machine gun batteries are physical, so they combo really well together and makes it really nice. I can literally just tank shots from these guys because they don't have a lot of HP. I think the guys in the top should be okay. Don't really have to worry about them. Alright. Or at least I hope I don't. Just gonna boost that one. It'll help trash the boss really quick. This guy's armored. And the boss is already dead. Nice.
Victory.
And this is very important. Well, I got my XP. There's stars in this game, just like you would find in a lot of other tower defense games. Some sort of victory objectives and a reading of how well you do. These stars determine what research points you are awarded. The first star is worth 5 points, second worth 3, and then the final one worth 2. Not sure if it stays consistent through the higher tier maps, because I haven't gotten past tier 1 yet, but I will. But yeah, you can consider it about 10 research points per map. And those are what you will use to sort of customize or upgrade your traps. There is respecking in this game for gold, which is one of the resources that you'll accumulate. This is only the first map, so you don't have a ton of it, but you will gain quite a bit. Let's see, 24 bonus poison damage, 9% potion efficiency, 69 lightning, 24 ice. I do need the ice. Let's take the bonus HP. Gonna get you out of here. We're gonna get you out of here. Oh, or 5% magic find. Gold find we definitely need. Get rid of you. You are junk. And so are you. These are all starting gear, so they can get sold. They won't really affect much. All right, and then we leave the map because we're done. All right, so now we have everything except crafting unlocked. We need to do the first 3 maps to get that done. I don't think I'll finish all 3. I'll probably get to the 3rd in a second video. Figure we'll do like maybe 3 videos with each character just to get started, and then we'll see where we want to pick it up from there. Basic belt. Already know this. No, I don't have enough money for it. Probably do not know it. So sell. I don't even think I can tell what I can craft because I don't have access to the menu. All right, so of all these items, you only have 1 slot for each of them. You do have the ability to place 3 runes, and runes affect your traps in some way, giving them various bonuses. Pretty good stuff overall. It's the most normal things that I have available. Alright, let's go ahead and grab this rarefied helmet here. The shop in this game is actually extremely good, and because of that, you know, 127 HP isn't that big. Whoops, my back. Isn't that big a deal? So I think I'll go with the magic find for now. These are character skills. For this character, these abilities are probably going to play the biggest deal in improving my character's ability, at least in the early levels. This literally doubles the damage of this skill here. 100% damage per second goes up to 182 from 91. So they give you damage per second values, which incorporates the cooldown, which I believe is correct in this game, and damage per hit. So that's cool to me because a lot of games generally give you very inaccurate damage per second values because they don't include things like your chance to crit, or you know, your ability to you know, just not fire because of cooldowns. And I think that just speaks to the developers sort of intimacy with stat sheets and things like that, probably from all of the action RPGs that they've done. Oh, haven't actually looked at the traps. So again, we have our research points. They can be respec'd, but removing points costs you 200 gold per trap upgrade point. So it basically becomes more expensive to respec as you get further down the lane, and we have 2 additional tiers of traps to unlock, one after we beat 8 maps, another after we beat 13. So even with the 15 or so traps that we have visible here, we know that there's another 10, and that's a good amount of traps. They also have 3 various upgrades that you purchase in game, and then 2 general passive upgrades. One that generally increases the damage or efficiency of the trap, and another one that will do something that is very trap specific. In this case, we can decrease the cost of the trap by 1 point, and that basically gives you a power multiplier for the essence that you gain. For the case of the mechanical tower, we increase the range of the tower itself, and then this increases the damage, basically allowing it to deal damage in a greater range and thereby increasing its DPS. Range is a thing that a lot of people tend to overlook with traps. Okay, so with the ground fire, one of the most important things here is just going to be gaining the ability to increase the damage. The ignite damage is nice too. With this guy, we're going to want to be able to purchase the slow and the AoE. The damage is nice, but not the most important thing. Damage increases on it are good too. Let's go ahead and save some coin. I don't know if I really want disorient here. I think we're probably going to be better off. You can decrease the fire time on this. That actually looks pretty decent. range and chance to double is pretty good, but I think I'll probably get a lot more use out of the poison. Poison is really bad against runners. It shows you that here. There's a typing chart for enemies. There are armored enemies, giant enemies, normal enemies, and then horde enemies. Hordes generally come out in packs. They are the runners of this game. So if you're familiar with like kobolds from Orcs Must Die, they are a bunch of tiny fast creatures that generally swarm towards your portal. They can be pretty much anything, but they're very dangerous, and traps that fire in bursts or are concentrated generally are bad against those. I like the fact that this game, unlike a lot of other tower defense games, sort of shows you the fact that certain traps are bad against certain unit types, because that helps to inform the player about a lot more of how you should layer your traps. That's all the research. We'll have to get some more. Then the other traps, you'll see locks on them right now. They have conditions for getting unlocked, and you'll see them if you mouse over each of the traps. So that's great. There's a lot of information to get from just going through the screen for the first time, and if it's your first time actually getting into the game, this game should be on sale for the remainder of the Steam winter sale as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and jump on that, it's like $5, and I think it's absolutely worth it. Like, it's worth it at full price, and you'll probably get like a ridiculous amount of hours out of this game. I'm not even sure what the level caps or anything on it are, but there's also a cooperative and a versus mode. You have to get to level 10 to do versus, but again, replayability is like through the roof. So if you like the tower defense, definitely try it out. Neutral creatures. So this is another interesting feature, besides the shrines, which they don't even talk about. Shrines are basically boost towers that you can activate during a wave. Excuse me, and they will give you the listed boost. Can't activate them right. Oh wait, I can activate them right now. Okay, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Last time I clicked it, it didn't activate. You can see the buff right there. Shows that it's active for 2 minutes. I'm not sure if they restore. We'll find out. So this is a ghost form of a neutral creature. Neutral creatures won't try to attack your gate, but you can attack them in between waves. There's no timer on this by default either, unless you have a special quest that tells you that you need to do a certain thing. You can take as much time as you want to finish up anything. So, you know, it's entirely up to you. You know, do what you see fit. All right. You can start battle anywhere as well. So if there's something specific that you want to do that you think will help out as far as getting things set up, feel free. All right, so this is the flame grow. I want to increase the damage on that. Cloud's important here, and then I don't have enough coin. Actually, I'll sell this one for now. We'll get a second flame grow going.
So many traps, so little time.
Because the flame grow is great. And the burn effect isn't as important as actually getting enemies slowed on top of the fire. The flame grill is pretty important, or lava grill, mainly because the longer you can keep an enemy on the grill, the more damage it does. So you can freeze or stun enemies on top of them and actually rack up huge amounts of damage, making it one of the better traps in the game. He's the warden, or mercenary, is much more proficient with mechanical traps, but I don't have the skill points to actually make that matter yet. But that'll probably change as the game moves forward. You can also kind of bait this guy over towards the other traps and things like that. Like, he'll follow you, which is great. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed like you're stuck somewhere. No, I don't seem to be able to freeze him. I think that's because he's giant though. So that's a key. That's the reason why you kill the neutral monsters in the first place, and works really well. So you can see these flame grills. If I stop these guys for a split second, and this slows enemies in a group too, which makes it amazing. It's so good. So did I get to boost this one? No, now it is. Now they're slowed, it is boosted. Oh, these portals. There are portals as well. They help you sort of get around. You want to pull these guys. I just want to make sure that nobody gets too far away. All right. So as you can see, like, forcing the enemies to fight you over top of the flame grills, pretty ridiculous. These guys are just roasting alive. Now I'm gonna boost that trap just because it is beneficial against giants, and that guy's a giant creature. He's also a pretty sturdy one. He has like 8,000 HP. You deal quite a bit of damage in this game. 8,000 is a lot of HP, but it also isn't impossible for you to take down because you pretty much just saw me do it. But yeah, like, just so much good stuff in this game.
I'm quite good at this. These traps need essence.
And that means it broke. All right, that's pretty solid start going forward. We'll need a bit more security over on the left side eventually, but for now we're doing great. I like to make sure I try to concentrate my traps in an area where they can all sort of be effective together. I mean, that's the same thing I do in every tower defense game. So I think it's a good habit to have. Sometimes it can be bad if you set up the wrong traps, but knowing how to spend your coin or resources, essence, whatever you want it to be, will go a long way in helping you get through these types of games. Also, you can see these copper keys in my inventory now. Each one of them will get me an extra chest when the map is over. I believe the keys can be different colors too. Their rarity determines the quality of loot that you'll get out of the box. So it's kind of important. Alright, we got another quag thing. We're gonna stop right there, sir. Oh, we're just above the flame grill itself. Yeah, there we go. Getting the cleaving ability for your strikes is actually really powerful for this character. Your ability to generate your resource comes from your primary attack, and getting the combination of the increased fury gain and the ability to strike an enemy multiple times, or to strike multiple enemies in a small area, actually makes it very easy for you to deal with large groups of enemies at once. So that skull over the enemy's head is because I activated the touch of death, which increases enemies' physical vulnerability by 50%, 40%. You can make it go up by leveling the skill, but yeah, it gives you a nice global damage boost if you're using a lot of physical traps. it will pretty much murder the majority of things that exist at any given time, which is really nice. Okay, what else do we have going here? I think that's really all I need. If we can manage to finish this map with more than half the essence of that we've gained overall, we get another trap unlocked, the essence trap, which has the ability to get us more essence. Essence is a temporary resource though, it doesn't carry over between maps, so it's something that you have to learn how to manage, but you never get any like significant bonuses with it other than from character skills, which are a completely different sort of thing. Alright, we'll let this guy go. You guys seem a lot easier than I remember. Maybe I'm just a bit more well versed in the game now that I've played it a few more times. You're a giant. All right. Try to catch these guys before they try to split. There's also a speed multiplier up here. You can slow the game down, having the speed, or speed it up, doubling the speed, whichever appeals most to you. Ooh. That Ghost Ghastly Shape, the Ice Rush ability that he has, is really good for getting around. These things, Cogbinders, disable your traps. They're very bad. They just disabled everything that I could have possibly done with this fire trap against this guy. That's a freeze. Oh no. Okay, you can use potions while frozen. That's a good thing.
Victory at last.
Also, always remember to hit continue before you decide to restart the stage if you actually finish it. That way your chests pop up. If you just hit restart, you will not get these. Or you might just miss them. Always like to make sure we grabs the loot. Alright, don't need this anymore. This is a regular item. Gonna have to sell that. Potion efficiency, lightning damage, and critical damage, and more health. Slightly less damage and potion efficiency, but the other modifier actually makes that kind of nice. I think I will just go ahead and scrap that. Lightning resistance is nice, but don't need it. I can put on the runes now. Not here, I guess. Okay, we're gonna leave the map. Or let's see what's up with these traps. We unlock the Phoenix Pillar. So the Phoenix Pillar launches a area of effect fireball, the Mystic Tower, so it can be placed wherever I had the opportunity to place this lightning pillar before, which were those little stone deuses that were around the maps. So that's a pretty good choice. It's good against, again, eliminating large groups of enemies. Bad versus giants because it doesn't fire that often. Not just that though, if something is strong against a specific type of unit, it will deal bonus damage. So that's pretty important. Also, if this deals a lot of damage to a target, it has a chance to knock it back. Smaller targets are more likely to have that happen to them because they have less HP. Obviously, very less likely to happen to giants. Also, while I'm here, not the leaderboards, but the encyclopedia actually has a list of all of the enemies you've encountered so far. You can see their troop type. These are hordes, normal, armored, and giants. Those are the 4 types. And then you have a movement type. These boots are grounded enemies, and then the number of arrows is their speed, 1, 2, or 3, I believe. And then the skull icon is how many gate points you lose. So that would be like rift points and orcs must die. And then if the enemy has abilities, they're listed beside it. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And I think an amazing, like, just thing that they give you that much information. But that's going to be it for this episode of Deathtrap. We'll probably get into some more Mercenary gameplay as we have more research and such to spend. And you can see I gained a lot more gold from the last map that I did. I only gained about 200 something from the first one. This one was closer to 2,400. So you get a ton of cash, and the more you play, the more you get. Not every map has those bonus keys, but I think with the third map, you get our, first quest. But the character skills, we get 3 skill points a level. That's how we're going to spend these for now. Buffing this skill isn't really super important. Eventually we'll want to increase the freeze length, but I think this is good for now. Either way, again, like I said, that'll be it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about the game. Is this something that you want to see more of personally? Have you already played Deathtrap? What do you think about it? If so, and yeah, like eventually I'll do a couple more maps, and then we'll take a look at some of the other characters. Either way, take care of yourselves as always. I sincerely appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at the videos. And until next time, have a good one, folks.